Alright, so sorry about that, guys. So Ali Alexander was, he went into the actual SS investigation, and he said it was like, it was all virtual. They did it over the virtual screens because of the COVID-19. And, he said it was quite the freak show. They tried to set him up multiple occasions during this thing where they would ask him a question but say right at the end, and then he'd have to carefully pronounce back what actually happened, not to be caught up in their little entrapments. And everybody at the FBI has already cleared AJ and all these people from this nonsense. Ray Epps, nowhere to be found by the FBI because he worked for him. He was one of the basically instigators of this shit. That his cover was blown and burnt, so they had to take him off the FBI roster as a Fed. There's more Feds crawling over that thing than you can count a stick at. The Whitmer story in Detroit, where the governor was supposedly going to be kidnapped by whatever little militia, was run by the Feds. There was more Feds involved with that so it was basically a giant setup, and the Feds are just stirring shit up. And the guy, after that mission was successful with the governor, the guy who ran that was made head of the January 6th ordeal that happened. And you know, the Oath Keepers have been, the Oath Keeper leader was also, it's looking more and more like he was a Fed, or at least heavily influenced by Feds that day. So they arrested his ass because he was working with his little Oath Keeper group on that deal. AJ's cut ties with him, obviously. He cut ties with him about 2 years ago. He was always worried about him because during the protests and stuff, he's always lurking around the edges of the whole ordeal instead of being right there at the head of the spear. So we're gonna see. Oh, and the January 6th ceremony the Dems put on was cringeworthy at best. And a lot of people are saying that. Nobody's buying it. It's complete political BS, and now they're using that crisis to get terrorism charges against their opposition because they know they're guilty of sin. They stole the election, and that's just what it is, because they're afraid if Trump gets back in there, it's going to be clean house time. And what do I mean by clean house time? I mean, well, basically, Trump, if I were Trump going in, I'd fire everybody at the FBI and the CIA and the Justice Department. Eliminate all those positions because they have failed the country for years now. And I would replace, handpick everybody who goes in. And if anybody suggests to me that works for me who should be in there, I would suspect them as being involved with the Democrats, and they'd be fired. And from there, I'd probably appoint Michael Flynn to the highest position going, and have him in charge and start kicking ass. And from there on out, we'd have to get Michael Flynn's recommendations for trustworthy people to install And then we got to clean up the mess. Get rid of all the Biden shit. Get rid of the mandates. Forget all that crap. Hey guys, back. So, yeah, with all those new people installed, we'd have to clean house and fix all the nonsense that's going on in the US. And why am I, as a Canadian, so much worried about the US? I get this question a lot. Canada is basically attached at the hip to the United States. So their policies, their bullshit that goes down there basically completely affects us over here. Very little difference. So fixing one fixes the other. Makes a whole lot of sense. Not a lot of people believe that, but it's absolutely true. Whatever the States does, bonehead Trudeau normally ends up following suit after the fact. He doesn't have balls, so he plays follow the leader, the easiest path. So getting back to it, Trump would obviously eliminate all the shit. All the COVID shit and mandates would be instantly gone. We'd be getting back to normal, guys, as promptly as possible, which will be a huge boom to the economy. And also, Trump would go in and get rid of all the stupid gasoline nonsense that Democrats like to play with. So he would probably make us self-sufficient again, because we were self-sufficient when he was in. And once that happens, guys, the price of gas is just going to plummet. And then everybody doesn't have to be worried about being pushed to buy electric cars. I have no qualms about electric cars, except that if the battery fails, you're basically buying a $30,000 battery bank to replace your Tesla battery. Okay, so it gets quite costly, especially if a lot of people abuse the vehicle and the battery, etc., etc. So, yeah. So he's got so much work to do, but his rally that I posted on the survival group page, which was hilarious. He's like, Biden's done. This is Trump speaking. Biden's done more damage than 5 presidents combined to the country, and everybody pretty much agreed with that. So it's going to be shocking to see how much the Dems try to steal the midterms with everything going on, because even their own Democratic people are turning against them now with inflation and all this other horse shit. It's pretty sick, but it is what it is. Pretty sad, guys. Pretty sad. So I'll get back to you in a bit. Talk to you later. To see all my live daily content, become a Patreon member. Click on the link on my YouTube channel at the Off-Grid Tiny House. Click on support this channel. It'll take you to the Off-Grid Tiny House page on Patreon, or you can just Google it. Sign up and join in. Thank you.